German Shepherd.
Okay.
And sometimes people confuse the two.
I don't know why I had a picture of a whale with this
Really?
with this name. You
Must
said
be-
I had
I
a picture
love
of a whale. No, I'm like, wait, a
We
whale
need to
German
talk, yeah.
Shepherd.
Let's talk Tales.
My guest today on Tales with Taylor is a recognized trusted advisor with early career success in hospitality and real estate development. He now leads a talent advisory firm that collaborates with stakeholders to enable them to gain access to the talent they need in today's rapidly changing talent landscape. It's Jim Janosik. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Good morning, Taylor.
Good morning, Al. So tell me the tale of young Jim. Were you like delegating in the classroom who's going to be
Young Jim.
best to fit in what groups because of their skill sets and things? Or
That is, actually, it's great. Very timely question. I just went to my 50th high school reunion.
No way.
I did.
You're not old enough to have had a fit. Did you
And-
graduate when you were 12?
14, actually. I was still ahead of the curve.
Okay.
No. So I think what it is, it's just always been a people person. And I guess I've always been polarizing. And my classmates would come up to me, tell me stories about things that I didn't even know that I did. So I guess I'm still polarizing 50 years later to these people. Jimmy's here. And so that connectability is what adds to the success in assessing talent and bringing the whole picture together from a team standpoint, understanding both sides of the table.
Yeah, because without team, as a business owner, team has been the biggest aspect to business growth, in my opinion. There's only so much that you physically can do. And without building systems and building team members to implement those systems, you truly can't grow. And so what do you feel are the biggest pitfalls that business owners, make when trying to acquire talent and retain their talent?
Social media, no. But I'm seriously, the current, what's Steve Jobs' phrase? You got to know the signal through the noise. So the noise right now is skills-based hiring and a lot of sterile upfront analysis. But at the end of the day, vision is caught, not taught. And so really, I could be, to the point of pitfall, I could be on a phone call. I'm unique in that I schedule with my clients, if they allow me, the phone calls with their hiring manager. So I'm on the phone calls, I'm brokering the phone calls.
Okay.
And I can know within 5 minutes if this is going to work or not. Because you can just read the energy in the room. You can just read how they're responding to each other. So it's still, the pitfall they make is they want to commoditize the process. Have all these systems in place, which I'm all system driven, but at the end of the day, it's about people working with people. And sharing vision and being humans with one another. And so to a certain level, you can't commoditize that.
Do you feel that there is as much talent out there as there used to be, or is there a lack of talent?
Oh.
Or is it a lack of training when you acquire that talent?
I think it's a great question. I want to answer it directly, but I want to say it's an overabundance of wrong expectations. It's what leads to somebody to believe there's the lack of talent. It's if you understand how talent buys, okay, and so people that are careerists, not just looking for jobs. I think for our discussion, my people involve recruiters when they're looking for people that are careerists, not just job changers. And so those people are out there. They're looking for, I believe the stat, this is from Lou Adler, isn't my invention. The more impactful candidates are looking for a 30% increase in skills, 30% increase in also just career knowledge. And the last thing on the list is compensation. So if you understand how top talent buys their next position using a transactional term, it's easy to find them. They're out there. But going back to the signal through the noise analogy, it's almost gone full circle to you're better off texting people. A little bit old school and on the cell phone than you are using social media, because there's a perception. I had one candidate, I was just being me, like you see me here, and he accused me of an AI-generated message. He even said, this must be an AI-generated message. I'm going, no, it's so the flow is going back to humanist, being more human than it is technology, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does a bit.
Yeah.
And so tell me, like, for those whom are in growth stage, because our audience are a lot of business owners, when should someone know to seek out someone of your expertise? Like, whom are your ideal, stakeholders and customers to help?
Great question. I think for them, the first thing I would say is, before they even got to the need for a recruiter, is use your own network, first of all.
Mm.
Okay. I like in one niche that I play in, which is financial services, the back of the house, compliance and supervision people. You know your competitors, and you know where your competitors live and the employees are. That's your first. That is really your first. You already can assess a culture fit based on
Right.
industry relationships. If at that point, as a practical matter, I won't say it's ethical, but it's probably not just good business for you to be cold calling your competitors' employees. But that's the essence of recruiting.
Yeah.
Is you're reaching out to your competitors' top performers and saying, "Are you open to make a change?"
Mm-hmm.
So I would say when they understand, when they're dissatisfied with the commoditized posting and praying approach, then they realize this isn't working. It's been open 90 days. How do we fix this? Then they look at what kind of recruiter ad.
The posting and praying, that's interesting. So, what are some of the issues within those job postings you think are keeping people from getting, candidates to come through? AI generated posts that are all the same and not
yes,
descriptive?
No, there's that. I do have one. I do have more clubs in my bag than just the single through the noise, but they're all generic.
Mm-hmm.
They're I know it's the term mansplaining, but they're really job-splaining to people.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really telling people how this. One of my mentors, virtually in the business, is Joe Mullins, and ideally, you want to be communicating to people who you're going to become. Who are you going to become if you come to work for us?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole other message that you have to have a conversation to get to that level,
Yeah.
right?
It's not just what's in it for you, but it's what's in it for them too.
Exactly, and that's approaching it. But I would say on the job posting part of it, we've almost become desensitized. And here's another boilerplate job description,
Mm-hmm.
full of a list of skills, and again, job explaining. This is what I'm going to do, rather than who am I going to become, and what kind of impact am I going to have. But there's I don't want to use the term desperation. From an empathetic standpoint, people are having trouble finding meaningful employment.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of the reason I don't post jobs is because I can put in boldface type, if you don't have these licenses, for example, Series 7, Series 24, Series 63, must have, I will still get 20 applicants within 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
None of them having the requirements, because people are so, I hate to use the term desperate because it's demeaning, but they're anxious and they want to go back to work.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of
and they're willing to give it a shot. I think. Hey, I have totally said I can do things that I've never done.
I guess this is where the struggle for empathy and humanity comes in the workplace. Though, is in some positions, yes, you could train people for, but the licenses that I referenced, if this helps you with some context, or whoever might be listening to this later on. So you need a Series 7, Series 24, Series 63 for this particular job in compliance with financial services. Fine. The employer says, I'm going to hire you without the licenses.
Mm-hmm.
I'll train you to get the licenses. But if you don't get the licenses in 90 days, we have to let you go. And actually, the federal agencies that govern these licenses is all part of that program. So you go to work for somebody for 90 days. They were empathetic. They let you get the licenses. You don't get them. The employer then has to have all the work you reviewed, which is thousands of documents, be re-reviewed in order to meet requirements.
Yeah.
So it's not lack of empathy on the employer's part, and not wanting to train people. It's just their stakes on the table.
Yeah, it's expensive to get a new hire.
Yeah.
It's very expensive. And then if that new hire doesn't work out, it's just back at it again.
Yeah. Really, there is an honest dialogue between the two parties. It's all filtered through social media. Mm-hmm. Of what you're doing wrong and what you're doing wrong, and really just getting people sitting down, talking like adults. You blow through all that.
Yeah. So what was the tale that got you to, talent advisory and acquisition? You said you started in hospitality and real estate development.
Yeah.
So
I'm a big one on
hospitality and talent. I can see the cross there, but just a little sideline of real estate.
I'm a real big one on, yes, goals, and I have my workout programs and things that I study, the dance routines and things. It was all organic, which is the beauty of it. I had a successful career, probably at the top of the pyramid in real estate development on a project. But then the economy dumped in 2008. And so I had to look for work. In the process of looking for work, I would be on the phone with recruiters. So one recruiter said to me, you're pretty good on the phone. Why don't you look at recruiting? I go, okay. So I went through a couple interview process with a couple firms. They put me through their assessments, and both of them came back with, from our assessments, you're going to be a top performer. But none of them wanted to hire me at the time because I've never done it before. And the economy was still in a bubble. 2008 and 9 was still in a bubble. So I found a firm who was willing to invest in me and teach me the basics of the business. And I've never looked back. I remember sitting in my office in the house we had in Reno, scared to death to pick the phone. They gave me a list of cold calls, a spreadsheet, call these numbers and see how you like cold calling, and just scared to death picking up the phone. And after a couple of days, I said I could do this, and so I've never looked back.
Yeah, cold calling is definitely one of those skill sets that I kind of feel like everyone needs to go through.
Yeah.
There's one thing of public speaking; it's another something about that ringing of the phone, the anticipation. Are they actually going to pick up? Am I actually going to have to say something to a person I don't know? And probably don't want to talk to me either.
No, but more directly answer your question, I just realized my giftedness is in that connection. And so why not to sound mechanistic about it, but why not monetize it, or why not just make a living off of it?
Well, that's what the whole goal is, to figure out what do you do naturally really well.
Connect and
then lean on that. And that's truly your gift to the world, and how you should monetize it, and back in, Roman times, it might have been through a trade. Now it's just capitalism, so we happen to get paid for our talents, but it's always been the same.
So, dated movie, Chariots of Fire, Eric Liddell made the comment, when I run, I feel his pleasure. And so I could get, I a discovery call with a candidate, only lasts half an hour. We go through the basics of the job, discuss compensation, and I always close the call with, so we've known each other all 27 minutes. Do you feel like I understand you? And they pause, and you hear a WTH vibe coming through the phone, but they go, you know what, you do. And so it's that giftedness to be able to do a quick read. And so I hang up the phone very satisfied after that I understood where they fit and where they don't fit. And people appreciate that.
Yeah.
That from a classic one call close type sale, which is what most recruiting is, here's somebody that actually took the time to understand me. And that builds confidence and trust. And it works both ways. I treat the client the same way.
Yeah. So. Excellent. Being a business show, I always like to know a little bit of the tale behind brand color choices and things of that sort. So tell me a bit about your brand and what made you choose those colors and such.
So, great question. I went through a list actually, a more important story how I got to that, though.
Perfect.
So I was recruiting a salesperson in IT services. Michelle was her name. And she actually worked for an IT staffing firm, so she understood recruiting. Got her to the final stage with the client. Didn't work out. But her advice back to her boss was, Jim's one of the best recruiters I've ever seen. We need to hire him. Okay. So that led me to start my own business.
Yeah.
I just went through names. I wanted it to be personal. I wanted my name to be in it, and that was probably the one that was close. Paul's my middle name. Partners with the hope that I might have more than one person someday. And then I forgot Aaron's last name, but Aaron was a marketing guy that came across my radar on LinkedIn that had Fortune 100 experience, but he had his own shop. And so I just said, here, make me a logo. And he came up with that in the colors. And what was so cool is I have no clue, even though I'm a clothes horse for a male. I had no clue what these colors meant, but he's the brown apparently goes with the blue, and he figured it all out for me. I just said, sure, I'm in.
And it feels very Arizona, which you're based here in Arizona.
Yeah.
The turquoise, color
Yeah.
blue, and then with that copper look of sorts,
Yeah.
and copper is a strong metal, and so it's maybe building strong unity within the talents that you bring in.
Yeah, he had all the science behind it, and I said, okay, works for me.
Yeah. Well, it's very clean looking. I always love to know the why and the stories behind it.
But that fits just my personal. I get image of I like the clean look. It just says it's right out there. That's who I am. That's what I do.
Yeah, and
Great
you
question.
do look good in blue, which you totally could have came in blue.
I know.
You
Next
would've been
time. Next time.
twinsies.
There'll be a next time.
All right, not
Okay.
wonderful. We'll make sure we're matching, right?
I love it. Promise you that we'll do another one with that. I love
All
it.
right, excellent. And so, what were one of the biggest challenges in starting your business? We have audience members from all stages of business. And
Getting out of my own way, probably.
And it sounds like you did that very quickly because you said you partnered with someone to get this logo done.
Yeah.
Many people in their startup stages, they're trying to
Yeah.
do everything and wear every hat.
So I think it's and I don't know if other businesses can relate to this, but for recruiters, it's always that challenge, and what keeps people from growing into large agencies, quite frankly, is the need to fill a position and the time it takes to do it properly, plus balancing the need for business development. And so if you follow the narrative on LinkedIn or any channel, every owner faces that because of the time it takes. So I've never, when we first met, it was about doing BD. It's the challenge would be, are you going to fill work? Or are you going to win work? And so I still haven't figured out that balance. There's no perfect balance. I'm doing well, but I could do more if I had more that involves doing the biz dev part of it.
Okay.
So you've got, and with your own industry, you've got to figure out where that line is, but you can't do both. What is it? It's kind of like if you're familiar at all with dancing, you have to be fully weighted on one leg before you make a transition to the next move on the other leg. If you try to dance split weight, nobody's happy, meaning your partner. Okay, so sending a business, you can't dance split weighted. You've got to decide, where am I going to plant? And then in my case, it's recruiting, subbing out BD and recruiting has never worked well. It's so for me, that perfect position is going to be maybe doing less fulfillment and more BD. But every individual business has to ask that question on their own. How they're going to do that.
So this is the second time that you've mentioned dancing. Yeah. So tell me, what is your preferred dance?
Right now, I'm weeds deep in West Coast swing.
Okay.
I've been taking lessons for 2 years. Competed 4 times until I saw you.
Wow, that's amazing. If you have any footage, please share it so we can put it in the show notes.
Well, so here's the it's all about connecting. So two things. It's a great tool for self-awareness. If on asking to play life coach, if you're if you're in the dating scene, I say go learn how to couples dance, because it's immediate connection. Okay. And then you find out immediately about how to lead. It's just a dynamic. You get a woman in connection is just connection with a woman. I won't stand up and do it. And she knows immediately if she could trust you. If the connection isn't there, so there's an immediate connection with the human being. But the at an extremely vulnerable human level, this happened like over a month period, 3 times in a row, taking private lessons, make a move. I come out of the move, turn around, look at the teacher in the eye, expecting her hand to be out for the next move, but she's got her hands on her hips, saying, "Jim, you're in your head right now. You're thinking of your next move. You're not dancing with me. Just stop it. Listen to the music and dance with me." So that there's a human element to it. That I love talking about. Competing, it's Jack and Jill, which means you spend your money, you put your name in a bucket, and they give you a bib, and you walk out on a dance floor arm in arm with somebody you've never met in front of 300 people. You dance a song with her, and then you move down 5 people, you dance another song with somebody, and you move down 5 people, you dance another song with somebody, and then they judge you on that.
Wow.
But it trenches you.
Yeah.
It really does. And the beauty of it is it's such an inclusive community, and nobody cares. There, you get respect no matter how bad you may dance. Everybody just respects you that you were out there.
And what a fun way to get out and exercise.
It is.
Dancing is definitely one of the most fun ways to exercise.
Yeah. So it's great to connect and just that human of I can trust you. What are you going to do for me tonight? And moving around the dance floor, things like that. So that's good.
Yeah, and again, it makes sense. It's another human connection. You know, it's just everything does still have even though it feels a little different, a general streamline of just human connection with you.
Yeah. So that's what that actually I don't know if since I met you, if I told you the story when I first met you, what got me there was 15 years ago on a birthday of a certain age. Some friends took me to Handlebar J's in Scottsdale to dance, and I never danced before, other than the club style stuff. And I just saw the connection these couples had, and I said, I want that. I got to have that. So I never looked back.
Yeah, Eric and I should give it a try.
You should.
Be fun.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's your favorite tale that you've ever read or watched? So what's your favorite book or movie?
Depends.
And it could be for business development, it could be for self-development, or just pleasure.
Wow. There's so many. Obscure Richard Gere, Jason Alexander movie, and I forgot the female lead in the movie, but it's not Benji, but it's a true story about a dog in Japan that followed its owner to the train station every morning. Its owner was a professor at a college, and the professor had a brain aneurysm, died at college, and never came back. But that dog kept going back to the train station for like 5 years, and sat there in the snow every day waiting for him to come back. Okay, so I saw the movie. I cried because
you're making me cry just thinking about it. And I'm even team cat over here. One of my questions I typically ask, "What's your favorite animal with a tail?"
But that's me not letting go of my past. Going back to the same. It's the past. The past is gone. It's not going back to the train station.
Interesting.
It's not going anywhere. On the other side of it, the other movie scene that still drives motion for me to this day. So I'll gather myself. For the Love of the Game, Kevin Costner plays an aging baseball pitcher. He's at the last game of his career, the World Series, playing against the New York Yankees. Last inning, he's pitching a no-hitter, and Vin Scully lines it up perfectly. That I think this aligns with everybody at some level to get to this point in life. He's not pitching against right-handers or left-handers. He's pitching against time, against age. Excuse me, and it's like that's middle age.
Yeah,
right there. That you want that one more swing at the bat. So if that helps you.
Yeah, no, that's really good. No, I was literally having a conversation. Sports is so tough. I'm having a conversation with my son who's currently playing baseball and basketball, and he says he wants to be, a professional player one day. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's work towards that, but what else? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, mommy's age, I'm still alive and kicking and doing a bunch of things, but I'm old if I was an athlete. Like most athletes are retired by my age, and he just couldn't understand it. And we're looking up the average age of retirees in the NBA or the MLB because, he's thinking, oh, well, there's LeBron and there's, the Tom Brady's, but still, even so, 40s. You're young. And so, it's that education of, okay, well, what else? What else would you want to do? And most kids definitely don't think that way. So.
No, I don't know if you have heard of an individual, Scott Galloway is a gentleman that his advice he's worth Googling and paying attention. His advice is to the people that think that way but you're chasing like what 0.5% of the population is going to achieve.
Yeah, right. I was like, first of all, you got to be the 1% that actually makes it.
Exactly.
Then when you're that 1%, you also got to be the 1% of that 1% that makes it to an elite level to maybe play until you're 40.
Yeah.
But then,
But I think, to your point though, I think applaud your parenthood style, but then you have to somehow let those dreams die on their own with the youngin.
hmm
They got to figure out on their own, you know.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things where we want to hope for the best, try for the best, but also let's have a plan B to Z.
Yeah.
Because
Good for you.
things happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying. I think, seeing, I grew up with parents who went to a job and all that, which is great. And that's what I was structured. But I'm really happy that my children are able to see, building a business and working for yourself and really being able to make those types of decisions and, seeing what's essential, what's, what there's truly of value in life.
I'm going to give you a glimpse of your future.
Oh, all right. Let's bust out the crystal ball. Woo.
No, so I'm having, my youngest son lives up in Reno. I'm having dinner with him one night. And he's doing well, money in the bank. And so I start talking about, well, do you need to save for retirement? And he's going, what's that?
Oh.
And so I kind of walk him through it. And,
Yeah.
this is what you're going to get, Social Security probably. And it was when he's 32. So the 60-year-old in him came out when he said, but Dad, you don't understand. You live to work. I'm working to live. I'm going, he's got school by my son. But that's a generational thing.
It is. Oh my gosh. They're
look,
so smart with that. And I'm like so proud of how they have such a work-life balance, it feels.
They do.
And it is amazing.
Yeah. So I don't know if your son will get what generation. It's too young to say what his generation is going to look like.
We have no idea yet. But I think they're called the Alpha generation, which I kind of hate how they're called the Alpha because they're so cocky already. Like his generation.
I don't like the term Alpha because actually it's Alpha in me means someone's very needy for attention. So it's good you're mentoring him, but it's also interesting how they don't fall into the same trap that the boomers did. That's all. Mm-hmm. Then your whole identity gets wrapped up in it, and you lose your job, and you're like going, "Who am I?"
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember when I started my business. I quit a job to then start my business, and my mom was like, "What are you doing? Like, the enemy you know is better than the enemy you don't know." Like, thought it was just such a terrible idea, but it was probably one of the best ideas I've ever made, other than coming to Arizona. I would say that was my other best idea I did.
Yeah. Because you guys were in Orange County, right? Remember?
No, I was born in upstate New York, grew up mostly in Frederick, Maryland.
Oh, okay.
And then I moved out here when I was 19 years old with my cat in my front seat. Didn't know anyone here. Just wanted to get away from the snow, cold, humidity, expensive living in comparison at the time from where I was in Maryland. And really just the sunshine. Like I needed the vitamin D.
Really?
Because even on a bad day, you can look outside. It's sunny. There's life. It's good. But then Maryland, it's all gray. It just wasn't, it was harder to have a bad day be good. Yeah. And so, yeah.
But you were going to be preemptive here. I'm a cat guy.
Yeah.
I've always have been. I like my independence, and I'll sit in your lap. But if you pull my tail, I'm gone.
Right. Okay. You rub my belly when I'm not ready for it, and you're going to get bit.
Yeah, I'm gone.
Yeah. So I came out here with my cat Karma at the time. So she was a black and white tuxedo kitty, and it was just the two of us. So.
I love it.
Yeah. And now it's been many years later. I started my business in 2014 and been going great since. So yeah. And so for those of you whom, want to build talent, what would be the number one thing you would suggest for organizations to do to build a culture that attracts talent, but better yet, retains that talent once they come in the door?
Wow. That, my friend, is, if you could solve that question, you would fix the universe. Because that isn't good. Yeah. That's on top of everybody's mind. Mm-hmm. How do we attract talent?
Yeah.
And how do we retain them? I think on the attraction side of it, I guess back to my reference to Joe Mullins, one of the deans of my business, is you've got to offer them a growth. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you want to attract impact people, I'm going to be focused on people that really want to make an impact. That person's looking for growth.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got to offer opportunities, and this all comes through conversation, not through postings on jobs. You can't distill this stuff on a job posting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got to have conversations with people, but you got to build a culture of you can become this if you're here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to a certain degree, you don't want your 40-year-old son to be living at home someday. And so to the point of retention, you people leaving is not bad if they're leaving for the right reasons.
Right.
Okay, your competitor called me and offered me a C-level position that you couldn't offer me. That's not a bad. So retention is good if it's for the right reasons. If it's there because they're loyal, and you found for them a home, and their soul is full for the next 15 years, that's fine. But if they're there because they're an underperformer and there's no threat to their existence, you don't want that kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
So, but great question.
How often should people be reviewed, would you say? Like, I know for us, we like to do quarterly
Yeah.
reviews for, the ones who are more full-time
Mhm.
team members. Well, how often do you think people should be reviewed? Or should it vary on, maybe when they're brand new, you review on a more frequent period and then, change it up as time goes?
It's like any other relationship. If you're doing it right, you don't have to review. Okay, at a very surface level, because
Yeah.
I know where I stand. But at the end of the day, people are flawed, and people have blind spots, and so I would say, depending on the structure. Well, I'll say sales is a good example. You got to review your salespeople.
Mhm.
They're tied to metrics every Friday. What's your phone look like? It's the nature of the job. So it depends on the specific skill set. But I would say it should be scheduled so you know it's coming,
Mhm.
and there should be no surprises. Expectations should be just clearly laid out on both parts. There's I can't claim ownership of this, but unspoken expectations or premeditated resentments.
Hmm. Oh, you should say that again. That's huge.
Okay. Unspoken expectations or premeditated resentments.
Yeah.
Okay. You just got to get on the table, so I expect that of you.
Mm-hmm. I know. I feel like a lot of times too, we expect people to be mind readers. And then when you actually take the time to really put down, key performance indicators or, standard operating procedures, you're like, dang, there's actually a lot more to
Yeah.
this than my brain thought. Because sometimes when, especially if you've been doing a lot of the actions yourself,
Yeah.
you're like, it's basic, it's this and this. You're like, wait, there's actually like 5 steps in between here to here.
I'm in the last week teaching a class on finding meaning and purpose in life, based on the book The Call by Oz Guinness, if you've ever heard of it. But my mentor in going through my slide presentation and the whole thing is, you just mentioned my flaw, one of my biggest flaws. I expect people to read my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because not to sound I can read people's mind. This is my gift. I can
Right,
read a room.
yeah, you're able to read a room.
So you can't. I figured this out. You can't figure this out. I mean, I have to stop and explain this. So, to your point, yes, absolutely. You've got to realize people can't read your mind at any level, and you have to stop and explain yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah,
is hard.
and write it down though. Is I think that's the other aspect too.
Yeah.
It has to be something that is referable that you
Yeah.
can use as a resource. Because if you just verbally say it to let's say I verbally just tell you, but then maybe you are sick or you go away.
Yeah.
Well, then now we have to start back over again. So I think documentation has been something within the last few years that I have really valued and really trying to encourage the team of like any step you take. I know it's going to seem extra long to write it down what steps you took, but we need to be able to duplicate ourselves and be able to train more efficiently and clone our processes.
We do, but the fact, even though that you took the time, and that I guess there's the inner turmoil. You're causing me stress. No, the inner turmoil you're creating is because I'm such an organic relationship person. But the business side of it is, it just actually shows value to the individual in the process that we're taking the time to get this all down on paper, not because I'm looking over your shoulder.
Right.
This is a value, and I want to see. But if you're doing it in the context, I want to see you succeed, is one thing. If you are doing it in the context, I want to catch you doing something wrong. That's a whole other vibe that
No.
it never ends well for people.
Yeah, I think always with positive intent with everything that you go
Absolutely,
into is having that positive intent for
Yeah.
the betterment of the team aspect.
Yeah.
Because it is the truth that maybe sometimes we forget. Like I'm also just a crazy note taker. I'm an old
Really?
school pen and paper
Wow, yeah.
notebook, write down a note. But
Yeah.
that's also how my brain works, and so perhaps it's another reason. Like I'm one of those people. If we go to a restaurant, I get nervous. when they don't write it down. And I
Really?
trust it because I'm like, you're a professional. We're gonna be fine. But I'm like, oh boy, you're not writing this down. I'm getting nervous.
I love it. Oh, that's funny. Interesting. But there's a whole nother risk management side to it, though, that if there were attorneys in the room, it's just the world we live in. It's part of it is you're protecting both sides. That if something does go sideways,
Yeah.
okay, where's the documentation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've had experiences, not my business, but working for other people,
Yeah.
having to pull up some of my documents to help them out with court situations. And documentation is a way to save you. It's no longer he said, she said. It's this said.
This is what happened.
Yeah, this
as
is what
well.
happened.
So,
No
yeah.
feelings involved. This is the reality of life. So
I think maybe at the core of some of this, going back to attracting people, is people really want to be treated like humans,
mhm.
and probably more so now with the I don't put numbers on people. I guess the 20s and 40-year-olds that I come across want to be treated as a human being,
Mhm.
and so you have to meet them on that level as a human being.
Mhm.
You can't meet them as a job description, where the older people in my generation would tolerate being treated like a job description.
Right.
They want to be treated like human beings. So it's a bit of a shift because you got to be productive on the corporate side of it, but then you want to be treated like a human being.
Mhm. Well,
You
you
know?
mentioned it, your son. I'm working to live.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly their mindset, that they are a person first, and that's great that they have those priorities. Like, it reminds me of the book Essentialism. Like, they already seem to have it where it's their priorities are straight and they're willing to say no or willing to say yes based on the values and what they find essential. And so I find, so many more of us need to adapt that.
So to your point, when I talked to him last week, proudly announced that he quit his job
Oh, nice. All right.
without another one.
Okay. Yeah.
So-
Hey, I did the same thing, so I can't hate on that.
The dad gene kicked in, and I didn't say anything,
Mhm.
but I did say, "So did you tell your mom? We're divorced." So I said, "You tell your mom," and he just promptly said, "Why do I need to tell anybody?" Okay, it's my decision. I'm
Yeah.
responsible. Okay, I don't need to defend why I quit my job to anybody. I'm just going. I said, proud of him.
Yeah.
It set a boundary. This was what wasn't healthy for me,
Mm-hmm.
and so I quit. What are you going to do about it? I go, "So it's okay. Just want to." Yeah. And he lives very frugally. He does very well for himself. So I don't.
Yeah.
I was proud of him that he set the boundary in
That's
his
good.
mind. So I'm not going to defend myself. Just I'm living my life.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
If mathematically he had a plan and all good, then
He's always been that way.
there you go.
Yeah. So I'm proud of him.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
That's excellent. What advice would you give? Obviously you've been successful as a dad raising a child. Any advice for someone still in the trenches of parenting?
Wow. That's cool. Great question. And thank you for the trust in asking that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they have to know you have to be a safe place to them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which means at that plays out, he's young, it's going to play out, he's going to make mistakes
Mm-hmm.
and do things. He has to be able to call you and say, I totaled the car, and that you're a safe place for him
Mm-hmm.
to know that you're going to love him unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
So if you called my boys, either of them right now, said I'm with your dad, they would say, what'd you do wrong? Why are you with my dad? But if you ask them, does your dad love you? They would say, hell yeah. And they know that I'm a safe place. They can call me and tell me anything that's going on.
Yeah, that's so important, just the trust. And I think that trust obviously carries through from your personal life and your personal connections to
it does.
the business connections of those that you help, and building the trust that you're going to help them find the right fit and find the right person. Because as we've mentioned, finding the right talent is expensive and time consuming.
Mhm.
And so being able to have someone with a gift of yourself, of identifying people, being able to see that they are a fit before they, the employer can see that person in
Yeah.
that role.
Well, there's
such a benefit.
I guess the KPI side of my business
Mhm.
is like time to hire. How long does it take to hire somebody? I think the national average is like 45 days.
Mhm.
Mine is probably 90, and I have no trouble with that because by the time you identify somebody, get their contact information, get them to respond to you, that could be 30 days.
Mhm.
Because people are busy. People aren't
Yeah.
playing their life, responding to things. But the other KPI that I basically pride myself on, I was lucky enough once to get into a contract with Hilton, a hotel chain.
Mm.
And the comments I made to the director of HR were, if you need more than 5 candidates to fill a position, you get the wrong recruiter, the process is wrong.
Mm.
Okay. And the other thing that I really strive for is a ratio of submittal to interview ratio. And right now I have one new client I just brought on, and they were interviewing all 3 people I put in front of them.
Hmm.
So that's a matching skill that, and going, you mentioned business growth. And if you follow the narrative on recruiting, you can make a ton of money at it.
Mhm.
You could easily scale a $1 million business. And I'm open to you answering this question, but I can't turn my people skills into a business model.
Hmm.
I mean, that's an organic thing, so you can't really scale. You mean, Jimmy? Be a painful
Yeah.
thing for the world. but so there's certain things that I won't say it's a self-limiting belief, but I don't want to be a $1 million business. I guess I could if I worked hard enough, but I can't duplicate some of those things. Like a Michelin 5-star experience, there aren't many in town. If you're probably the closest thing to that to would be the Cafe Monarch over in Scottsdale, but they don't measure success on volume.
Mhm.
Okay, they measure it on the candidate experience, the client experience. So yeah,
Do you help them with the interview process? Because some
Absolutely.
people are not good interviewers.
no. Typically, again, this is the value of me being on phone calls with all parties,
Mhm.
because I understand the interview style with my manager's going to ask.
Mhm.
So I will tell the if we get to the interview stage, I'll have a prep call with the candidate, and I go, they're going to ask you these questions.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you right now, okay? And so you got to be able to answer them.
Mhm.
And typically, like one candidate, Dave, for example, his first question out of his mouth is going to be, good to know you. Tell me about you professionally and personally. I want to know.
What's your favorite interview question?
It's from it's not mine, but it's, if you come to work for us, what about you will surprise me?
Ooh,
Isn't that cool?
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that
I like
one.
questions like that. What about you will surprise me?
Okay.
Kind of disarms it.
I'm gonna put that one in my
Yeah.
mind. I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? Would
Or
surprise you?
another phrase on that, this other client, Billy, would ask people, what do you want us to know about you that you haven't told us?
Mhm.
Just disarming,
Yeah.
So any question that's disarming is a great question.
I like asking what animal do you identify as?
Oh, wow. Are you asking?
Sure. What animal do you identify as?
My spirit animal is a Belgian Malinois.
Oh, share more.
Are you familiar with Belgian Malinois at all?
No, I am not.
It's
So that's
just
why I'm
only-
like, share more.
Well,
Teach. I love
it's-
animals. I was like an Animal Planet kind of girl.
They look like I'll have to get you a graphical one for the video. You can
Yeah.
insert
No, we're gonna have to show one. We're gonna have to post one
they're-
right here. It's
they're-
now showing.
They're strong. They look like a German Shepherd. They look like a German Shepherd.
Okay.
And sometimes people confuse the two.
I don't know why I had a picture of a whale with this
Really?
with this name. You
Belgian
said I had
Malinois,
a
I
picture
love
of a whale. No, I'm like, wait, a
We
whale
need to
German
talk, no.
Shepherd.
And they're just bred to, actually, in this wonderful world. If you Google this, it'll come. If you Google compare German Shepherd to a Malinois, German Shepherd, they actually have this video where they have a criminal suspect in the corner of a room full of desks.
Mhm.
The German Shepherd is running around the desk to get to the criminal in the back.
Mhm.
The Belgian Malinois just jumps all the desks and goes.
Love it. Efficient.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all. Yeah, so it's just very focused.
That is a perfect. I love that answer. See, you would be hired right there. 'Cause
You'd
That's
be
a
hired right
fabulous
there.
answer for that
Yeah.
question.
But
Love it.
But yet I was a dog daddy to a Belgian Malinois with a gal I dated, and Sky was the dog's name. But the dog would sit in my lap, so they're not all vicious.
Yeah.
They're loyal to their owners.
Yeah, I think every
Yeah.
being, you can't judge, some people who are afraid of pit bulls. I've met the kindest pit bulls
Yeah.
ever. So it's just like a human. You can't judge any being based on, another being.
Yeah.
It's just everyone is their unique self that you just have to take at face value and get to know, and then you'll know what they really are about.
Oh yeah, I've been shamed so many times by thinking I know somebody. You get to know them, and you go, "Well, can I tell you a shaming story?"
Sure, let's go. This is your show, like I said.
So what did I do? Boots in the Park, big country festival. This branded all over the country. They had one down at the Tempe Beach Park, and I just was in a mood and I didn't want to fight parking and walking to the event. So I rented a room at the W, that's down the street on Mill Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And evening time comes, my artists are going to be on stage, and I walk out, and there's a gal there, looked like a beer cart girl, if you understand what a beer cart girl does in golf,
Mm-hmm.
beverage cart girl. She says, "Hey, you want to ride?" Immediately judged her as being a part-time bartender, part-time beer cart girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hop in the cart. Turns out she owns 10 golf carts. Probably just been talking to her, probably had like $500,000 in revenue.
Yeah.
Okay. Shamed.
Yeah.
Judged her by the look and found out she's a business owner. $500,000 in revenue is not
Right.
shabby. I'm going, okay, Jimmy.
But at least you're able to go in there and have that conversation, then quickly change that mindset. Some people aren't
Exactly.
able to change it that fast. So that's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
And so as we're coming to a close
Yeah.
here,
What's
what
up?
would be, the one message, could be professionally, personally,
Yeah.
anything. What would be the one message you would want to leave the audience with today?
A little bit of Socrates, know yourself.
Mm.
Both good and bad. And I guess from a rounding third base in my life, and in that cycle I've headed towards home, is get out of your way.
Mhm.
Just get out of your own way and go live it. That's what I would say.
Excellent. And we're
Got
going to
it.
have all links to the various ways to get a hold of you. But what would be the best way to connect with you if someone wanted to learn more about you or getting your talent acquisition skills?
You have I would just find me on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
message me on LinkedIn, or look at my website, because I'm active on LinkedIn. It's actually kind of, even though I have business cards, I will meet people and it'll be, "Are you on LinkedIn?" "Yeah, I'll remember your name," and I connect on LinkedIn. So
Yep.
LinkedIn would be the simplest, but yeah.
Excellent. So we'll make sure that we have your LinkedIn in the show notes at the bottom, as well as links to the website. So thank you so much again for coming here to the studio
No,
to chat with me.
Always good to visit with you, girl. Always.
Yes. Excellent. So make sure that you are enjoying life. We're here to work in order to live and not just live to work. And if you
Thanks to
need
my
help,
son.
yes, exactly. And if you need help building that team, connect with Jim. He's a great people person and people connector. Thank you again for joining me.
Good to see you.
Thank you for watching Tales with Taylor. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the Financial Potion YouTube channel to never miss an episode.